Buongiorno, this is Jim Campanini of Wine Novice, and today I am sitting here at Tutto Beni, the wine shop of Dickie Rourke. He's here today as our guest. Tutto Beni is located on Prescott Street in downtown Lowell, and he's got a great selection of wines, and he's also a sponsor of the Wine Novice blog. So on full disclosure, we'll get that out of the way. But really, I've been buying wine from Dick Rourke since he opened up his store. He has a great selection of wines and hard to get wines. And if you need someone to hunt a wine down for you, he's the man that you want to go to. Isn't that true, Dick?
That's true, Jim. Yes,
okay, good. But in this topic today we're going to talk about actually came from Dick, and it's a great. I think it was a great idea. We've just gone through the winter, which most of the people have been drinking heavier wines, Cabernets, Merlots. Now's the time to start thinking about Easter and the summer months, and something lighter, something a little more refreshing. Isn't that true, Dick?
That's true, Jim. Usually during the warmer weather, people change their palate for wines. Red wines are very, very popular from October through April, and from April on, people their palates change and they like lighter, whiter wines. In some cases, rosés. Over the past few years, rosés have come back into vogue, and right now they're being advanced bookings on rosés. They haven't come in yet. They'll probably be in around the 1st of May. But people's palates change.
Well, it's very interesting. You know, you're out in your backyard, you invite some neighbors over, or you're in your house. You want something refreshing. Now's the time to think about increasing your taste. Okay, and if you've been trying the reds, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the reds. But you know what? The wine blog is about experimenting and trying to open up some of those different tastes and varietals that we haven't had before. So I said when Dickie broached this idea, I said, let's come down here and taste talk about some different wines that we normally don't drink, or maybe you do drink them already, and what you might pair with some of the foods that you're going to have for this upcoming holiday. So Dick, what do you have there? You're starting off with, is that a sangria there on the left? And
well, Jim, this is sangria is a very, very popular summer wine, and people really enjoy it. I can give you a recipe for making sangria, but this is a sangria called Red Guitar that comes already fully prepared, and you pour right from the bottle. You can actually put a straw in this on a summer day and just sip it right out of the bottle. It's a great summer wine, as I said earlier. This particular sangria is right out of the bottle. It's just a fantastic wine. I want you to try this.
And where does this come from?
This particular one here is from Constellation Wines. It's a combination of various grapes from California, from Constellation.
Here's luck. Ooh, very, very nice aroma. It's just, I can smell that sweetness right in there.
Yeah. Now with a wine like this, you can add a little bit of fruit to it.
Yeah.
You can add some simple syrup, or you can add a pale dry ginger ale to it, or anything like Fresca if you want to really stretch it. But as I said, right out of the bottle, it's a fantastic beverage.
This is definitely a party wine, isn't it?
It's definitely a fun wine.
Yeah.
A wine to have a lot of fun with in the summer months. You know, by the pool, on the deck, by the grill, even on the beach. It's just a fantastic sipping wine.
Good, beautiful. Now, you told me about a great wine that I haven't really had in years. You said the rosés are coming back, and what is the history of the rosés? I mean, do they come in and out of favor, or is it just something that people have ignored? It's a great value.
Well, Jim, I think if you think back, and most of the people watching this blog right now probably remember back in their college days, if they didn't have a Mateus bottle with a candle on the side of their bed, they weren't in vogue. Well, Mateus was probably one of the first rosés that we all knew. Well, rosés have come a long way since Mateus back in the early 60s to something that's available today, something new. This is a sparkling pink, or rosé Moscato. You won't see this around anywhere here in the Merrimack Valley, except here at Tutto Beni. It's called Zabibo. It's a sparkling pink Moscato. So this is something.
Now, what would be the taste? We're not going to try all these wines. I'm working, and but what would people get out of that? The taste,
This has got a sparkling. It's sweet. It's got cherries, different types of berries, raspberries, cherries. It's just an elegant.
When
wine.
would you drink it?
Oh, this I would drink as an aperitif, or I would drink it with a salad. Again, it's a fun wine. It's a picnic wine. So
Would you
it could be-
serve? Could you have it with appetizers?
Yes, yes, you could. But there would have to be mild appetizers, nothing too spicy, because you don't want to cut into a wine like this with a nice fragrance, with a sweetness taste, with something that's going to be
Overpowering. Yeah, the good advice. So you want something light. That's for light treats, but it's a great wine to settle down with at the end of the day and enjoy the sunset. Fantastic. What else? Now,
Jim, I'm going to talk about this wine here because
Okay.
it's one of the largest selling wines we have here at Tutto Beni. Today, you're finding
Raise
people.
that up so John could
today,
see that.
So this is a wine called Fizz 56. It's a sparkling red wine. It's an Italian wine. It's from Piemonte. It's a Brachetto di Acqui. That's what the wine is called. It's a sweet wine. It's got its own sparkle to it, and it's a fun wine. We sell somewhere between 3 or 4 cases of this a week here. And this particular one here is a new one that just came out called Fizz 56, as I said earlier. It's got a lot of raspberry, strawberry essence to it and flavor to it.
I just wanted you to see. Look at the different contrasts in colors. Now, if not only are these exceptional wines and values, all these wines that Dick is showing you cost less than $20. And I mean, this would really spruce up your table if you're having guests over and they've seen the regular whites and the reds. Boy, you start off a dinner party or even a little luncheon with one of these. I tell you, you're really going to get your guests' attention. So boy, that's interesting. Now I'll have to sample some of the Piedmont too. So,
Jim, over the last few years, women have become, they consume quite a bit of wine now. And they like sparkling wines, they like sweet wines. Things like Moscatos and Proseccos and Cavas and Bruts, etc. They have a tendency to drink those wines extensively. But add a little sweetness to those types of wines, and now you got 2 great items here. You got the sparkling Moscato, pink Moscato, and you got the Brachetto di Acqui. So they're wines that are really geared toward women consumers.
very good. Okay, put these over here now for the side. What else are we?
Well, Jim, last year my favorite drinking wine for the summer was a grape from the Rias Baxis section, which is the northwest section of Spain, which borders Portugal. And this particular wine is called Albarino.
Oh, nice grape.
Just a fantastic wine. It's got a lot of fruit flavor to it. It's dry. It's not overpowering. A lot of citrusy pear taste to it. And it's got a lot of class to it. It's a wine that I enjoyed immensely last year.
So it almost has like an elegant finish, would you
Yes,
say?
it does, yes.
Yeah. So this is this is a great tasting grape. If you haven't tried an Albarino, the varietal, once again, this would really give you something different. And I think on your palate, you're really going to enjoy it. What would you pair this with? Would this be more for a dinner wine, or would you have this for an appetizer?
This Jim is an all around. You can have this as an aperitif. You can have it with a salad. You can have it with a nice seafood dish with oysters, with clams, steamers. It's a fantastic all-purpose summer drinking wine. One thing to bear in mind, though, is when you're buying white wines or even rosés, when you're buying them, the vintage is very, very important because you want to buy the most current vintage. So this is 2012. You don't want to drink anything older than 2009. But it's preferably you'd want a 2010 or 2011. So that's something to bear in mind when you're buying white wines.
White wines, yes, very good. Yep. No, that's a very good point. So you've learned something very, very good here. And this is the 2010, and it's probably coming right into its own right now. So, and that was your favorite selection for last year.
That was my favorite. That was the wine that I drank whenever my wife and I went out to dinner, or went for a brunch, or we're at the seashore, I always ordered Albarino.
Beautiful, good. What else do we have here?
This wine here is a very, very unique wine. It's unusual because it was almost extinct. It's called Anise. Another wine from Piemonte. This is put out by a great producer, Vietti, and the wine sells for like $21.99 a bottle. It's the only wine that we're showing here right now that's over $20. But this is a wine that, as I said, was almost extinct. It was Luca, the winemaker and owner of the Vietti Estates. His family brought this back from extinction, almost extinction, to being a very, very popular wine now. That comes from the Piemonte section.
Now, this is interesting because I had never heard of this anise. Is that how you pronounce it? Anise grape. What would people taste in this wine?
That again has got a lot of citrusy flavors to it, but there are things like melons. You're going to get crispness and pears. It's even got just a little bit of almond taste to it too.
Yeah. Well, it must have made a great resurgence because it says even on the back of the bottle, this came out of an experiment from a few vines that were left over, and now it's thriving. So that's a very colorful label, and this would be a great treat to experiment and to share with your friends. So that's very, very interesting.
Okay.
And now all these wines, what should the temperature for white wines? I know we discussed this in one of my earlier blogs where I said between 45 and 55 degrees. Do you agree with that?
Well, Jim, I think the proper serving temperature for a chilled wine is somewhere between 55 and 58 degrees.
Oh.
And I say that because you don't want to over-chill a white wine. If you over-chill a white wine, you're going to lose the complete flavor profile, and you won't be able to get the essence of what fruits the wine is portraying. So you got to bear that in mind. You don't want it too warm. You don't want it at room temperature. Yet you don't want it too cold.
Okay, so someone comes and buys this wine off the shelf. Okay, they bring it home. How long should they chill that? Would you say in the refrigerator if they don't have a temperature gauge?
I would say no
hours?
more than 2 hours.
2 hours. Okay, good advice. All right, what else?
And also, if you want to chill it much quicker, you take some ice from the freezer, put it in a bucket, and add cold water to it. It isn't the ice that actually chills the wine; it's the water. The cold water that chills the wine.
When you take it out, you should keep it in an ice bucket.
Can't keep it in a nice bucket. Keep it chilled.
Keep it chilled. Very good advice.
This wine here is from Villa Angoris. This is a Pinot Bianco. It's a wine that's just a step above in flavor and flavor profile to a Pinot Grigio. Similar to Pinot Bianco is similar to what we would call here in the States a Pinot Gris.
Wow. This is, yeah.
Villa Angoris is a great producer. This is produced in the Alto Adige, Veneto area of Italy, and it's another favorite wine of mine. It's a wine that's very food friendly when it comes to summer salads, summer easy dishes in the summertime.
Very good. Now, I know in the past you've visited Italy quite extensively, and you scout out a lot of the vineyards for your own wines here. Did you visit this vineyard at all?
I haven't visited this particular vineyard, but I've been to Piemonte and spent a considerable amount of time in Piemonte and have visited with the Vietti people. I've visited with the Ratti family, Fontafreda, Ilio Grasso. My wife and I have made 13 trips to Italy.
What is it with Italian winemaking that makes them so distinctive, and that you like them so well?
Well, a lot of the winemakers over there have continued to make wines in the traditional manner. There are few new winemakers now that are changing to more modern techniques, but you still have that old traditional way of producing wine.
Hand-picking the grapes?
Hand-picking the grapes, and in some cases, well, they still do it in Portugal. They still use a lagar, and they still stomp the grapes by foot. And there are some of the smaller wineries in the northern provinces that still stomp the grapes by foot.
Oh, that's fantastic. Great. Okay.
Of course, the last wine we're going to talk about, we just had Cameron Hughes, who's a Nicogen, just happened to be in the market here a couple of weeks ago. And this is a Riesling that he acquires from a major producer, and there's a little bit of a Chenin Blanc added to it to soften it off. And this particular wine, of course, when you're buying sweet wines, whether it's a Grüner Veltliner, a Riesling, depending on the alcohol content, the lower the alcohol content, the sweeter the wine.
Right.
In this particular case here, this is a 10.9% alcohol, so this is somewhere in the middle. It's a medium to dry Riesling, and it's not as sweet as you would with most Rieslings from Germany, say for instance, that run in the 8.5 to 9% range. But this is a nice drinking wine, again, that can be consumed at mealtime as an aperitif, or even just sitting around by the pool.
Well, I just want to say, once again, full disclosure, I came in here last Saturday. I bought a bottle of this only because I've been experimenting with that Chenin Blanc, and I bought a bottle of true Chenin Blanc from Dickie a couple of weeks ago, and I was absolutely floored by the dryness, the taste, the elegance of it. And so I came back and I tried this. My wife absolutely loved it. We had this with a roasted chicken with a little dill on top and stuff, and it was fantastic. She loved this, and I think it was a great combination. You'd really, I think you'd really enjoy this, and the price on that is $14. So I think that's a great value, a bottle for two great varieties that's a nice blend.
Jim, this goes great with sushi. I know there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that read your column and listen to your blog that enjoy sushi and enjoy Chinese food and Cambodian food, and that's those are big foods in this market. So this goes very, very well with spicy.
Oh yeah,
spicy
yeah.
food.
It's the Rieslings are known to cut through. They're very good Asian food, and the spicier it is, the better it is for the Riesling. So you'll really enjoy that, and it really is something that, you know, if you're ever in a bind, you don't know what type of wine to use to have for guests, you can always get away with a Riesling, I think.
You know, one of the things to bear in mind when you're buying wine and you're trying to think of what food to pair with it, or if you're looking for a specific wine to go with something you've already chosen, is just think of the where the food comes from, what area of the country or what country it comes from, and focus in on the wines that come from that particular area. Because in most cases, the wine that's grown in that area goes with the food that comes from that particular country. or that
Okay,
particular
if you had to pick out one wine that is, and they're all good wines and they're all good selections, but if you had to pick out one wine for the Easter meal that was going to say, you know, it was going to wow your guests or your family, what would you recommend for one of those wines to start off a nice Easter dinner?
Wow, tough decision. With all the
All right, I'll let you
right
pick
now.
two. I'll let
Well,
you pick two.
I'll let you. Okay, let's start off with Bacchetta Viacchi as the aperitif.
The aperitif
Sitting
right
around
here.
to make a nice toast with it, and also goes very, very well with ham. And the other wine that I would pick would be the Albarino.
The Albarino, very good. So you have your selections here for your holiday. You want to make a splash, okay? He can't cook the ham for you, all right? But he can certainly tell you what goes best with that food. So you might want to come down to Tutto Bene on Prescott Street and talk to Dickie yourself, or his very able assistant, Ellen. She's always here if he's not here.